We're going to talk about these compound inequalities, and all that means is we're going to do more than one inequality at a time. There are two different types. There's an and an or. And inequalities, you find solutions where the inequalities overlap. Okay, this is a key word, overlap. So ands are overlaps, and I'll go into more detail about what that means down in the bottom. Now, the or inequalities are final solutions is everything. Everything. So ands overlap, ors are everything. Let's give this a try. I've written some examples in here. So the first example, I have x is less than or equal to 4 and x is greater than or equal to 1. So the first thing we're going to do is draw a number line here. Notice I left a little bit of space. We're going to use that space in a minute. Which is greater, -1 or 4? 4 is greater, so I'm going to put -1 on the left side and 4 on the right. Is 4 going to be an open circle or a closed circle? It's a closed circle because it's an or equal to. How about -1, open circle or closed circle? Again, that's a closed circle because it's an or equal to. And now we're going to make some kind of like little number lines up above this big number line. So let's start with this first part. I've got x is less than 4. If I were to graph that on my number line, which way would I shade? To the right or the left? I would shade to the left. How about this guy? X is greater than -1. Which way would I shade? I would shade to the right. So where is my overlap? Because remember, an and is an overlap. It's a section in the middle. So that's where I'm actually going to shade on my number line, is a section in the middle. Let's try an or problem this time. Again, I'm going to draw my number line. Now, which is bigger, 2 or 7? 7's bigger, so it goes on the right-hand side, 2 on the left-hand side. Open circle or closed circle for my 2? That's going to be an open circle. Open or closed for the 7? A closed circle. Now here comes my little mini number lines. Which way do I shade? If it was just x is greater than 2, I would shade to the right. Which way do I shade for just x is greater than 7? I would shade to the right. Now an or problem is everything, so I'm going to shade in between my two numbers and to the right of 7. Do another example. Here's my number line. Which is greater, -4 or -2? -2 is greater, so I put -4 to the left. Open or closed circle with -4? Closed circle. Open and closed for my -2. An open circle because it's just a greater than sign. Now my mini number lines. Which way would I shade for just greater than -4? Shade to the right. Which way would I shade for greater than -2? Again to the right. So an and problem is where the two little number lines overlap. So that's going to be just this far side of my number line. One more example down here. I've got -4 and 1. -4 to the left. 1 to the right. A closed circle for my -4. Open circle for my 1. Pull in my little number lines. Which way would I shade for just -4? I would shade to the left. Which way would I shade for just 1? To the right. A or problem is everything, so I'm going to shade both of the far sides of my number line. Now, there's one more thing we want to talk about. If we scroll up, you remember that problem up here that I said we'd get back to? Well, this one is a slightly different problem because it's written differently. So what this is this is another type of an and problem. And they try to trick us by writing it all in one sentence. So what we can do is we'll cover up this first half and we write